What's up, nerd and nerdettes? Beau with PC Fix here for you.
And Chad Taylor, your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, here to give you the top 5. So let's roll that intro.
Yeah!
Yeah.
Today we're going to be talking about the top 5 Spider-Man suits. Now, not necessarily the most equipped or the things that have the best, but some of the ones that have the best all-around like story behind it and character and just development and care behind them.
Now, we're not going to really talk about the original costume because everyone knows that costume.
Everyone loves that costume.
I love it. That's why I'm wearing it.
That's right.
I am Peter Parker.
Are you?
No.
Oh. Number 5 is the Scarlet Spider suit worn by Ben Reilly. Now, what's really cool about this is Ben Reilly is actually a clone of Peter Parker sent to kill himself. Well, Peter Parker, which is in turn himself. But anyway, we're going to get into logistics about them. During this fight, Peter Parker thinks he actually ends up killing Ben Reilly. It's not the case. So when Peter Parker leaves, does whatever he does, Ben Reilly just kind of lay low and does whatever he wants to do until Peter decides to hang up the mantle of Spider-Man to start a family. So Ben takes it up, creates a nice cool suit for him, and picks up that mantle and continues to serve justice.
Now, this suit's not necessarily the best in the world. It's kind of a handmade look. It's got like a cool blue looking shirt with a sideways spider. Kind of stands out. I kind of like the way it looks. And he's got these web shooters that look a little different too.
It's kind of like an urban Spider-Man.
It's kind of like if you were to make it yourself kind of thing. Like it's a DIY Spider-Man costume, which makes it really cool. It's a little rugged. But the cool fact is that Ben Reilly actually didn't have a name until after he had supposedly died.
Yep.
And he created it using his memories of his Uncle Ben and his Aunt May.
Reilly, which was her maiden name.
Which is her maiden name, right. And so Ben Reilly actually picked up the mantle and actually became a hero.
An anti-hero in some cases, but a hero nonetheless.
And that's why he tossed it up at number 5. And coming in at number 4. Now this is a little bit of a weird storyline, is a bit of a twist.
Yeah, a little twist.
Yeah, if you want to say that. The Superior Spider arc, which was a crazy arc nonetheless, because Dr. Octavius, or Doc Ock as you want to call him, he actually was dying. And he actually invited Peter Parker out, and he actually mind swapped him. And so Peter ended up dying.
So that's like one of the most evil things you could do is just like, hey, I'm going to ditch my dying body for your perfectly good body.
Right, and when doing so, he actually started melding with Peter's memories. And he started to understand what the real meaning behind with great power comes with great responsibility. And he started wanting to become a hero himself. And he wanted to actually surpass the legacy of Spider-Man and Peter Parker. He wanted to become better as a person and as a, just a hero in general.
Yep, and so what he did with the suit is he built the typical Doc Ock style, which is gave him 4 extra limbs to the suit. So something cool, something interesting, helps him with fighting, climbing, all around just anything that could be useful for. And, and it just gives you that cool extra flair of seeing the Spider-Man with 8 legs instead of just the 4.
Yeah, and it's great because Doc Ock still has the same abilities as Peter Parker because he's in Peter Parker's body. So he has like spider sense, he's got the ability to climb, web sling, everything.
Plus the mind of Doc Ock, which is just a brilliant genius as Doctor in the title.
And Peter Parker himself was a good scientist too. He created his own web fluid in certain stories and certain arcs. But it's just amazing nonetheless. And that's why it's at number 4 on our list.
Coming in at number 3 is the Iron Spider, and if you've seen Iron Man, you know you've seen this suit because it's made by Tony Stark himself.
Yeah, aka Iron Man.
That's right, and so there was a suit made for the Civil War. Now, we didn't see it in the Civil War movies, but we're showing hints of it at the Infinity Wars, which we'll be talking more about and getting into this a little bit more later on in a different episode. But this suit has so much stuff. It's got the Tony Stark flair to it because it's just decked to the 9 with gadgets. Like the protein scale nanotechnology, the alloy that actually makes up the suit itself, which is pretty awesome that it's an armored suit, but he's able to move freely like Spider-Man should. And see, it's also really cool because it's got 3 arms to it. So Dr. Octavius is in whatever universe that is. It's got 3 different arms, so it's gonna gives that same fighting and mobility that you get with that suit.
Right, and not to mention the gliding, so he doesn't have to web swing all the time. He can jump from a high building and just glide to the next area. He doesn't have to web swing all the time. Which makes it good.
It makes it a whole lot better. And another really cool thing is that there's in the mask, there's almost like a gas filtration, air filtration that could filter out any radioactivity, any harmful chemicals like poison, things like that. Doesn't even affect them.
Right, and the most cool thing about this thing is that his actual lenses on his mask are actually have an actual HUD on it. So it's actually a holographic imaging device. It can actually analyze fields. It can analyze certain things, just like Iron Man.
Height, geometry, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it paired with that Spidey Sense, it's killer.
Yeah, it makes it number 3 on our list because it's that awesome.
And there is plenty more out there. There's a whole laundry list that we'll do in another episode, but we just ain't got the time for that. So moving on to number 2.
Coming in at number 2 is one of my most favorite suit ever, and that is the symbiote Spider-Man. Now, this suit is actually alive. It's a parasite, actually.
That they picked up from outer space during the Secret Wars. Peter Parker's suit got ripped open. They kind of patched it with a little something and just turned the suit black, and he loved it, so he brought it back home with him. Turned out to be a lot more than he actually bargained for.
Right, because he would actually wake up not feeling rested enough. His body would hurt, but his mind's like, I'm feeling good there, but my body hurts so much. So he actually went to Dr. Lizard, so he went to Lizard to actually talk to him about, hey, I need to know what this is going on. This is scaring me. He looks at it and actually does some tests on it and finds out that it's a parasite eating at Peter. It actually wants to be a part of him and bond it. And so that scared Peter. But they found out that actually subsonic waves actually hurt the actual symbiote spider.
And that's good because he's tried removing it, doesn't remove. So during this final hour of him coming to grips with everything, knowing that this is not going to work out, he ends up going to a church and the bell gets rung right next to him, and the suit freaks out and it falls off him onto an unfortunate Eddie Brock that's underneath.
Right.
Now, what's the good thing for Peter because he's free of the suit, but the sad thing for Eddie Brock was he was actually there to kill himself, and with the suit being rejected by Spider-Man, felt very hurt and betrayed and sad, so they kind of meshed together on that note and became Venom.
Right, which we won't go too much into Venom. We're going to go into what makes the suit so awesome.
Yes.
Now, this suit can actually lift 70 to 75 tons. I mean, he could lift him with his pinky.
That's right.
I mean, he just lift him up. I would break my finger if I tried to do that, so I'm not going to do that.
Oh.
Yeah.
We don't want that. But anyway, that's that. It's got an everlasting web. It makes its own bio-style webbing, and it's just infinite. It just keeps going, and it's so much stronger than Spider-Man's.
Right, and any villain's not gonna be able to get out of that. I mean, they might have tried it. Some super villains might be able to get out of Peter's webbing, but this webbing, it's almost near impossible to get out of it. And that sucks for them.
Yeah.
But it also had the ability to actually sense other symbiotes around it. After Peter got rid of it, he couldn't sense it because it bonded with Peter. It knew what Peter was, and it took a lot of that and gave it to Venom. So, Peter can actually sense it.
Yep.
And that sucks for him.
But that's the great thing about Venom is he can pinpoint all that, or at least the suit can pinpoint all that, which gives a huge advantage on any enemy that's wearing or using a symbiote-style suit.
Right.
And that is why that bad boy is at number 2. Coming at number 1 is our Future Foundation suit given at Johnny Storm's Will and Testament to Peter Parker. Now, we're not going to get into that storyline. It's a great storyline. I suggest you check it out. But we're going to talk about what makes this suit absolutely amazing.
Now, what makes this suit really cool is it kind of simulates the same thing as the symbiote spider. It's actually got this really cool molecule. It's called the unstable molecule, and it keeps it actually clean.
Nice.
It doesn't get dirty.
No dirty suit.
Right. Yeah. No dirty
some
suit
laundry
at all. And one other cool thing is it can actually change its color. Now, it's originally a white and black suit, so it's kind of inverse of the actual one, of the symbiote spider. It's kind of inverse. But he can actually inverse the color on it. He can actually make it black and white if you wanted to. He can even make it red and blue. And one of the coolest things about this suit is it can actually shape shift. So it can actually so if he wants normal street clothes, bam, just with a thought. That's all it takes. And that's why I've made it number 1 on this list.
And number 1 in your hearts.
This is our top 5 Spider-Man costumes. If there was something on the list that you thought shouldn't have been on the list, or you thought something else should be on the list, let us know down in the comments below. Be sure to share the page, like the page, just go to our site, ethrallstudio.com, to find out more content from us.
And if there's a lot of outcry and a lot of outpour that you want to see another video, we'll do another 2. We'll do an episode 2 over this, showing even more spider suits at their word.
Right, and maybe we'll get him one of these.
That would be so dope. I want a Venom one because black is very slimming. And so on that note, glad you got your fix. Later, guys.